All right.
Wish I could.
And I think we do have a quorum, right? Everybody's here, in fact. And we're welcome. Public comment on non-agenda items.
Am I allowed to make a public comment?
You can make a comment.
Okay, I have been approached by several adjuncts that would like to know whether they could get representation on this committee. So,
This is a non-agenda item, and if you want me to make a statement, I can make a statement on it.
sure, I'm just looking.
As the college
Is there a
president, I do
mechanism?
not have any problem with having adjunct representation on the college council. But since this is
This is a Senate issue.
a Senate issue, as you're saying, and it's a college, it's a governance, shared governance issue, I think all the groups can discuss it and make a recommendation, and we can have that on the agenda for next time.
Yes, that's fine, I can add it, but as Lenora said, it's a Senate issue, so I think the Senate.
It's more than
would have-
it's more than a
Yeah,
Senate issue.
but they would have to discuss it. I also think that the classified Senate might want to address it as well, because you have part-time classified as well. So just something to think about. We're gonna be inclusive. Let's be
And,
inclusive.
So we'll have, so in that case, I mean, since Mr. Mark Whitworth brought this matter up, so what we'll do is we'll ask all the groups present to have their various groups to take a look at it, discuss it, and bring a motion, a recommendation.
We'll
at the-
agendize it for the
We'll
next meeting.
agendize it for October or November, right? And we'll take it from there. Is that okay, Mr. Whitworth?
Absolutely.
All right, okay,
Absolutely.
all right, okay, all right.
Nice.
Other public comments, other comments, no? Okay, we're good? All right, so review and approval of meeting notes from June 21, 2018. Seems so far away.
Oh.
Right, okay, this is our first meeting from summer? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved?
Hey, second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Changes? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
Yes.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 abstention, right? Information items, superintendent presence update. I will give you a brief update on enrollment. Our numbers seem to be doing very well right now. We are roughly at 29,500 unduplicated head count. 26,922 of those students are credit students. And about that, this time we have about 480 fewer head counts than we had at the same time last fall semester. But we do feel that we should be able to address this by increasing some of the second 8-week classes that we will be offering, and we're also looking at a very robust spring semester. 61% of the students attending PCC are part-time, 38% full-time. 26% of the students are in district. 3% are international students, 52% female, 47% male. 4,743 are first-time students to Pasadena City College. 416 are high school students taking classes at PCC. From an ethnic breakdown of the population, I will just refer to the numbers that are 1% or above. Asians account for 24.7%. That's for fall 2018. Asians 24.7%. Black non-Hispanic 3.9%. Hispanic 49.9%. White non-Hispanic 14.4%. Those who have listed 2 or more ethnic groups 3.7%. Those who have declined to state, we refer to them as unknown, 3.3%. Okay. Residency status, AB 540 students, 2.8%. And in-state, I did I mention in-state earlier on? Well, in-state, 64.7%. In district, 26.7%. Out of state, well, there's something wrong with that. It's out of district, it's not. So in district, 26.7%, and out of district, 64.7%.
They're in state.
They're in state.
So we just call them in state because
Right.
they're outside of the district,
Okay.
but they're in the state.
Right. And other than that, I think we've covered all about enrollment, unless you have any specific questions. And based on this enrollment, I just want you to know that we are currently the #1 single college district in the state of California. When we start school in the fall of 2019, we will need to have a full-time obligation number of 447, right? Right now, for this semester, our full-time obligation number is 427, and behind us is Mount Sac at 420. So this is not a big problem for right now because we can handle all that. But it becomes a drain on the finances of the institution when we have an obligation number, full-time obligation number that is that high, when other districts with equal number of students or sometimes fewer students, more students, have an obligation number which is less. And there are about 6 or 7 districts which are in the same category as we are. And it is very difficult for us to get any kind of support statewide because the other districts don't want to touch that faculty obligation number formula for fear that their numbers will go up, and they're not happy about it because they get the same funding that we get. The way they are funded is not different from the way that Pasadena City College gets funded, and yet we do have to spend more, right? But we do that because we think it's the right thing to do, and our results indicate that we do very, very well because our students succeed at a significantly higher rate than elsewhere. As a matter of fact, last week, Dr. Olivo, Mr. Tito Altamirano, and who else in this room were there, went to Sacramento to be recognized. Dr. Olivo, you want to tell us a little bit about that recognition we got?
Yes, there is a national organization called the Education Trust, and they have a West Coast organization called EdTrust West. They conduct research on best practices in education, K-12 and higher ed. And this is the first time they've included higher ed in an award called Bright Spots. And our campus was recognized for the work we've done with our large-scale first-year experience program called Pathways. And so just congratulations to everyone for all of our hard work in making sure that new students start right at PCC. And it was recognized as best practice in helping to ensure that all students succeed at the same levels.
So, okay, so what we're doing here is paying off. And then something else also that you need to know, in California there is a requirement. All districts have to show to the state that 50% of our expenditures, at least 50%, need to be on instruction-related matters. And in that what they consider instruction, they remove counselors and librarians are not part of that. Most districts find it very hard to reach that 50% goal because that's, again, our faculty association will tell us because they monitor that very carefully. All right?
50% law.
But Pasadena City College doesn't have an issue with it at all. Even in that, we are the highest in the state in what we spend on instruction. We spent 56%. That was for this past year. 56% of our expenditures were on instruction. And other districts, if they reach 50%, they are very happy that they've been able to do that. Okay?
56.54%.
Oh, thank you very much for this clarification. 56.54%. Yes, Ms. Rugat?
Have you made a decision yet on whether we're going, I seem to hear an implication that we're going to try to meet the bond.
Oh, we try to, we have to meet the fund.
Instead of taking the,
No, we won't do that. We will
Okay.
meet the fund.
Cool.
Because it is our goal to make sure that we have the appropriate number of full-time faculty members to better serve our students. We do not think it is in our interest, as some schools think it is, to pay a fine, which is right now, what, $74,000 per each faculty member that we do not have based on that faculty obligation number. We do not believe that we should be giving $74,000 away because we are refusing to bring in a full-time faculty member to better serve our students. So we will meet our fund for next year. I know instruction is working right now with administrative services and with student services to come up with the recommendations for next year on how many full-time faculty members we will be hiring. Okay? So that number should become available. I believe, when is that? When will you be bringing that up?
Terry was working on it yesterday, so I'm assuming he'll have it within the next week.
Within the next week or two, but then all the divisions will be scrambling to get their list together because they will have to get that list to us. I need to get that list by the first week by the last week of October, right, so that we can work on it, and by the second week of November have that list out as to how many faculty members we are hiring for next year and in what fields we are hiring them. Okay, so we will meet that. So rest assured, I want the community to rest assured that we will meet our faculty obligation number for next year, all right? Speaking of good news, the Campaign for College Opportunity will be recognizing us again in December. This time we are ranked number 2 in the state of California for the number of associate degrees for transfer awarded. But that's based on data that are lagging by 2 years. That's the 16-17 data. When next December of 2019, the 17-18 data are taken into consideration, Pasadena City College will rank number 1 with a lead of more than 300 degrees over the school that will be ranked number 2, which is Moore Park College. You have heard me complain to all of you over the past 2 years or so. Why is a school that is half the size of Pasadena City College claiming the number 1 spot, offering, awarding more transfer degrees than Pasadena City College? Well, I guess now we're showing them that we have taken that spot for next year. All right? Dual enrollment, you all know that we have signed the agreement with PUSD and we are up and running. Temple City School District is the one we are working with right now. We have already gone through the first reading. The second reading will take place in October, and the board will be approving that. And dual enrollment classes will be starting with Temple City in the spring of 2019. Also, we are working with La Cañada, Flint Ridge, and we do hope that by spring semester we will have an agreement signed with them. There will also be an agreement signed with El Monte. We are working with El Monte also. And then the next 2 districts that we will be working with are San Marino and South Pasadena. You also know that we started last week to offer a shuttle service to Rosemead. It's a 3 trips a day from our main campus here to Rosemead and 3 trips from Rosemead to here. And we hope that this will help our students. We are also looking at setting up new signage at John Muir High School. Right, that's where you all know that we are renting that building now. And we're also looking at having a permanent employee at that John Muir building starting probably by November 1st at latest. And we're going to host an event there to introduce our new campus. Yes, Mr. Wood.
What does that mean, a permanent employee there? What is that?
It'll be classified.
Classified?
It'll be classified employee there, classified. I want you to know that our administrators, managers and administrators, we have not increased that number. We remain constant for the past
No, I mean,
7-8 years.
not a trick question.
No, I know.
I was just wondering.
But I'm glad you gave me that opportunity to make a brief comment on that.
No.
That whereas we have increased the number of classified staff, we have increased the number of faculty. Our student body has been going up because we are meeting all the growth that the state is giving every year, and we're also capturing growth that other districts are not capturing. Yet, we as an institution, we have made a conscious decision not to increase the number of managers and supervisors and administrators. But I don't know how long we can continue with that. At some point in time, in the next several years, something probably will have to be done. Because we
A
will.
decrease, sir?
Huh?
A decrease?
That is something for the next administration to
No
decide.
decrease.
Also,
That was a trick.
I also want you to know that the new building, after the last board meeting, the architects have gone back to review the exterior of the building. But bear in mind that the exterior of that building must only use the materials that were in the FPP, which is the final proposal that was submitted to the state about 7 years ago. So the architects are very limited in what they can do with the outside of the building, because they can only use what that FPP submitted 7 years ago had used. So what they are doing now, they are using that, and they have submitted 3 more designs using that. Okay? And that has been sent to the deans of the divisions.
Yes, this
Right.
morning.
Okay, and the deans would be sharing that with the faculty.
Right.
So that the faculty of those 2 divisions, that is natural sciences and health sciences, can submit their recommendation, and then we will take that to the board for approval at the October or November board meeting. Okay? Now, I want to reiterate one thing to everybody. There are many ways you can apply for funds from the state to get funding for building construction. And you will only get funding when there is money. There has not been any money for the past 15 years or so. Okay? Because the state didn't have the money to give. 3 years ago, the state passed a bond, and $2 billion was set aside for community colleges. So all the schools that had applied for money were then being considered. There are many ways of applying. You get category A, category B, category C, category D, category E, or what is good, right?
It goes five.
Five
levels.
categories, A through E. Category A is the emergency funding for safety reasons. And the building must have been shut down, right? That's category A. And you cannot make any change to what you are to the building that you have. It is known as a like-for-like replacement for safety purposes. Keep that in mind. Even if you can say, I got money. The state says no. Category A is a special funding, like for safety purposes, because you cannot use this if the place is shut down. You can go with category B, where you will say, okay, we have some issues going on, but we will match 25%. And we will want it a different way, different building. It can be bigger, it can be smaller. That's B. C, you are providing even some more funding or whatever it is. Each one is different, right? And when you get money through category A, that's it. And category A gets a preference because it is safety and it is a like-for-like replacement. Now, we can say whatever we want. Well, the state is nuts. What is the state thinking? But the state wants a level playing field for everybody. You requested it through this, you will live through it now. And when you request that money, through A, you have to also submit your plans and what kind of materials you would use and how much it would cost. Those were submitted about 7 years or so ago. And now you have to live with it. I'm not saying that we should have gone with a different category because this doesn't have the funding to match. Okay? There are districts that match 50%. They get preferential treatment too because the state is happy that they're putting 50%. I'll give you an example. What's that school? Allen Hancock. They put 50% on a $40 million building. So they are getting their $20 million. Yeah? But there are other districts that want 90% funding. They are just putting 10%. Well, they fall behind. Okay, because but We want to help you, but you don't have funding. So that's why we are with this building. That's why it's so difficult, and that's what we need to understand. And we've been able to negotiate with the state, and they finally agreed to it because of the like-for-like part. When the submission from this college went to the state to ask for the like-for-like, guess how many elevators they put in that building, in the plan that they submitted? One. Okay? And it was not an easy fight with the state to get the state to agree to make it like-for-like with 3 elevators. But even the like-for-like, finally the state agreed to give us the 3 because of like-for-like, but the state made it clear only 2 of them will be used by your faculty, staff, and students. 1 of them will be a service elevator for chemicals. Okay? So, whatever we do, we have to live with the consequences. So that's where we are right now, and we're doing it. My understanding is that now faculty and staff will be working with the architects for the interior designing of that building.
That's correct.
Okay. And I don't want to take away from what Dr. Story will be sharing with you later, but in that same vein, I want you to know that the district will be working on creating educational and facilities master plan, right? And the bids are out right now to hire the firm that will be doing that. And my understanding is that faculty has already been informed that they will need to send people to that committee that will be reviewing that, classified administration, and there will also be 2 board members that will be on that committee that will be reviewing the applications and so on. All right. So hopefully, with that being said, everything should be, there should be an education facilities master plan by the end of next year, and based on that, then it will be up to the district to decide what they want to do as to how much funding will be required to finish the campus. But when I said finish the campus, remember that the state also had another system which is not completion, campus completion, for all those kind of newer campuses that came to life in the 70s or so. The state didn't have the money to fund all those campuses, the new campuses, right? So there was something known as funding through campus completion, right? That is, those were but we don't qualify for that anyway. Not to worry about it, we don't qualify for that. Those were campuses that started in the 70s or so, the newer campuses, and so they were given enough money to build 1 or 2 buildings, and then later on they could apply for more money to add buildings to that. Okay? So that's where we are with that. And then one last thing that I want to share with you is probably the next meeting or so, you will be looking at the use of tasers on campus. You know, over the years, over many, many years, there has the campus police have been asking for that they be allowed to carry lethal weapons on campus. Right? This is the only community college in the state that has a sworn police force that does not carry lethal weapons. I'm not saying that it is good or it is bad to have lethal weapons. I mean, the jury is out for that. I mean, you can study you can do a study of the whole system in the whole country with carrying lethal weapons or not lethal weapons, and probably you will never reach a conclusion. But they're looking at one thing now, at giving our police officers the use of tasers. Sometimes, because you may have, it is not always easy when campus safety or campus police, because we have campus police, work with that. So a policy has been drafted and is being reviewed by legal counsel right now, and all the various groups on campus will be, I will always do for policies, board policies, will have an opportunity to review and provide input like we always do. All right?
I didn't think we were making this a policy and procedure.
That's my understanding. According to legal, it has to be policy and procedure. Yeah, we check, and that's why I had asked Dr. Story to work with legal counsel, and they're looking at it. It has to be a policy. So, yes, sir.
Where is this originating from?
Which one?
Who's coming up with this idea?
Campus safety and campus safety, yes.
Yeah. Do you know, are all of the officers on campus, are they all post-certified?
They're all post-certified. They're all post-certified, yeah. Yeah, they're all post-certified. They're all sworn police officers.
Yeah.
They're all sworn.
I thought they
police
were, I just
Yes,
wasn't.
no, they're all post-certified, all sworn police officers post-certified. Okay. And we've looked at many things, and even that it would be very heavily controlled. There will be videotaping of every single time. If we do, I'm not saying that we're moving in that direction, but all that, we need to be able to provide people with an opportunity to review everything that is available. We have received so many letters from so many faculty and staff asking that police be armed. And I've received from the union, from the Senate, I believe. No, maybe not, but from individual faculty, we've received plenty of letters on that. But that is a very difficult decision to make, right? Because carrying lethal force on a college campus, like I said to you, I mean, we're the only one, but that doesn't mean that we need to follow everybody else, right? And since there are so many people that are interested in it, it is very good that we bring it out in the open, and if there's a policy, that we take a look at the policy. And this is not going to be a policy for lethal weapons. It's just for the use of tasers. Yes.
No, so then I guess for lethal weapons and video cams might be considered, but since it's not a lethal weapon, it's not up under consideration.
It will be, the taser, use of tasers is accompanied by video cams, yeah. Each time a taser is discharged, there's video and audio recording of the session. That's it, it's automatic, that's the only thing that
Good to know.
yeah, okay. Yes, sir.
Well, I was just gonna say, talk about the campus police that presented at one of our past meetings, the type of tasers they are looking into, and it, as simply as once it turns on, the audio and video recording will commence. So not obviously before, but if the taser ever is, taken out of its holster, it'll automatically turn on.
It automatically, that's the
That's
kind
part
we're
of the
looking
actual
at.
package that they got for the type of taser they're looking to go in case this does get approved.
Thank you.
Do we have a sense of when the AP will be ready to be presented to the
The
shared
BP,
governance?
that will be, legal is working on that now, right?
Right. Yeah,
When do you think that'll happen?
Could be 3 months, 2-3 months.
It takes a long time to have these things done. I mean, what's that?
I mean, you need a new legal,
That's
it's gonna
what-
take them 3 months to figure that out.
I mean, that's at the time we would have the BP available for review.
Right, because then you will, then every group on campus will need to review that too. So, well, that will conclude my report, unless there are questions. All right. Then we have now academic affairs update. Dr. Junie can't make it today, and we have Ms. Stephanie Fleming.
Dr. Judy just asked me to share a few things with the group. Dr. Verdian already covered the dual enrollment and the enrollment
Okay.
updates. But Dr. Judy wanted me to let the group know kind of what the priorities are in terms of instruction and academic affairs for the year. Specifically, we're continuing our work on AB 705, optimizing the funding formula and making any necessary changes in instruction, and then continuing our guided pathways work. And specifically, the focus is how we bring all three of those areas together to make sure that not only are we in compliance, but we're actually using them as a vehicle to better serve students. And so some of the specific work that we're focusing on in the area is, so in guided pathways, one of the things that we're doing is creating program maps for all of our degrees and certificates so that students have an idea of what they need to take each semester. But now we want to take that a step further and make sure that we're creating partnerships with our primary transfer universities so that when students come here, they can actually see a 4-year map. And then as we build out dual enrollment, there could be a 6-year map that would start with dual enrollment and go all the way up through their bachelor's degrees. This is one of the things that we're being asked, is to be able to track how well our students do in terms of bachelor's degree attainment. And then finally, what we call a living wage, which is an interesting thing in California, but how well they're actually earning a living wage after they leave us. And so all of those things are folded into the funding formula. Another thing that we're doing is making sure that we offer all of the ADTs that have been created by the state of California. There's 8 or 9 ADTs that the state has approved through the CID system that we're not currently offering here at PCC. And even though we're still one of the leaders in offering and awarding ADTs, there's always further opportunities. So we're working with the faculty right now in terms of that. We also need to make sure that we're reporting all of our certificates of achievement. There's been a change in Title V that allows us to report additional certificates of achievement that have a lower unit cap to them. And so we'll be working through the C&I process to make sure that all of those are reported to the state so that we're getting credit for those and that they're also more meaningful for students once they actually achieve them. We also need to look at our operational skill certificates to make sure that those of them that are just on that cusp of becoming the next level, that we're asking faculty to review the curriculum there. Could you offer one more class and then this actually becomes a certificate of achievement that we can then report to the state and give the students credit for? And then we're also working on aligning enrollment management with those program maps to make sure that we're actually offering the courses that we're telling the students they need to take. And one of the large areas that we have to focus on is making sure that our students can all get into English and math, transferable English and math in their first year. And so we have a working group right now that's looking at some different options. We're playing around with some different ideas, and we'll update this group as we're able to get some changes going in that. But those are the main things that we're focusing on in academic affairs and instruction this academic year.
Very good. Maybe you give me a quick update on the exterior of the building, the U building. I just saw 2 emails going out right now saying that by later this afternoon or tomorrow, we will have the results of the polling as to what natural sciences and health sciences have picked as their preferred design. Okay. And before I turn to Dr. Olivo for Student Affairs Update, I want to give a shout out to the State Chancellor for Community Colleges, Mr. Eloy Ortiz Oakley, for the courage that he displayed in taking on those agencies that rank colleges and universities in the United States. Right? And I think we need to recognize him and thank him and wish we had more people like him that would take those agencies in the way they rank colleges. They are ranking colleges and universities that have billions of dollars in their foundation. They are ranking colleges and universities that charge students $60,000 a year to attend. They are ranking colleges and universities where the average income of the parents attending those colleges and universities is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. But yet, those same rating agencies will never rank the community colleges of California that are now offering bachelor's degrees, because we don't belong to that same elite group, because the parents of our students don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in income. We don't have foundations that have billions of dollars in reserve, and we don't charge $60,000 a year. We charge not even $3,000 a year. And most of our students don't even pay tuition, and yet we are serving the top 100% of the students available in the state. So I'll give him kudos for that. Dr. Olivo.
Hi, everyone. I have an update to share. So I separated them. And I'll start while those are circulating. We have very exciting news coming out of Student Services. We are redesigning the L building. And I'm working with TVP Architects and Facilities on that. We are in the process of finalizing the plan before it goes out to DSA for review and approval. And I'm also leading interdepartmental retreats, and I hired a facilitator from the USC Center for Urban Education to begin cross-training all of Student Services. I included a picture of the rendering of what it'll look like when you walk into the L building. So currently, when you walk into the L building, it is the career center in the center of the building. when you walk into the L building now, next year, you'll see this.
Good luck.
So it'll be an integrated center where students can get support from admissions, financial aid, and counseling, and any referral the student needs to be successful. And the underlying theoretical framework we're using is from the RP group, Student Success Redefined, led by Dr. Darla Cooper. And so just remembering that we oftentimes organize ourselves separately, and what the student experiences is just people to help them navigate the various resources. And so that's what we're beginning the process to do. The construction should begin next August 2019. And I'll keep you all posted on that. I also sent out an email to the campus regarding our new social work services coordinator, and I included the verbiage of that email for all of you to please share and pass along to students. This is a new effort that we are attempting so that we can help students navigate housing and food insecurities, as well as any domestic violence situation they may be experiencing. And then I included a new campaign that we led through a partnership with Strategic Communications and Marketing for our CalWorks program called Be a Hero. And these images were all around town on buses, bus shelters, and postcards that went out to students. So this is just encouraging students to sign up for our CalWorks program. This is a program for students who are on any program that's offered through the Department of Public Social Services. And so there's counseling and stipends available to help students navigate any of the challenges they might be experiencing while they're in school. We're also excited that we have our Veterans Resource Center expansion is open, and it's awesome. We also applied for a $600,000 grant, and we received it this summer. We hosted a veteran suicide prevention event last week, and we're working on incorporating our veteran benefits processor in the actual VRC so that our vets will only have to go to one spot to get all of their support. And then I did want to mention that our Lancer Pantry, the distribution hours you'll see here, I've posted them. We've been providing food to an average of 211 students per day. I will be sending out an email later this afternoon asking the campus to please collect your canned and boxed foods, and please send them over to the food pantry. We're a little bit low on food right now, and so a campus food drive would help us while we're establishing our PO with Smart and Final. And student equity will be going out and conducting presentations to each division this semester on our new equity dashboard. So that's 13 presentations conducted by Dr. Maris Tamayo and Dr. Robinson, as well as a researcher. And then we're working with Institutional Effectiveness to administer 2 surveys this fall, one from the Community College Equity Assessment Lab and another called the National Assessment of Collegiate Campus Climate. We're also working on opening our Safe Zone Center in January. This will be in R422, right above here. And it's a really nice space, overlooks the campus. This will serve 3 student populations: our undocumented students, LGBTQ students, and formerly incarcerated students, which I just learned a new term for these students. It's justice involved. And so we will have a classified staff member over in that area, and we just got a position approved for hiring. Our Foster Youth Center, I'm inviting all of you on Thursday, October 11th. We're hosting a college-bound event. If you have any students who are former foster youth in your classes, please ask them to attend our conference. This is to help our foster youth access transfer information. And then speaking of transfer, we have Transfer Day Wednesday, September 26th from 10 to 1 in the quad. And we encourage everyone to wear your university gear that day so that you can let students know where you went to university and got your degrees. We have 50 students who will be attending our Great Minds in STEM conference. The faculty have asked if I could please extend the deadline to next Friday, so we're going to do that. And this is a conference held right here in Pasadena where students will gain access to professionals in any STEM career. And they'll learn about internships and how they can pursue those careers. And then I just wanted to remind everyone that the applications for the Student Services Fund is due today at 4, and we administer around $700,000 to co-curricular activities, so please submit your proposals.
Thank you very much. And next we have Business Administrative Services.
Yes, I'm pleased to report that last week on Wednesday, the Board of Trustees approved our adopted budget for fiscal year 2018-19. The budget for the year that we're currently in, 2018-19, it's a balanced budget. Total revenues of $169 million. And because it's balanced budget, the total amount of expenditures and transfers is the same amount. Represents about a $10 million increase in funding compared to where we were last year. And the increase comes from two main components. One is funding for COLA. So the governor authorized and approved a COLA of 2.71%. So what that equates to for Pasadena City College is $3.6 million. This year, there's a new funding formula for California community colleges, this student-centered funding formula. The result of the funding formula is Pasadena City College will get $6 million more this year than last year. And that's because the formula is driven not only by access, the number of full-time equivalent students that we serve, but also looks at socioeconomic conditions of our district and also completion rates. So it's a performance-based model with completion rate funding built into it. And because we have so many degrees that we award, so many transfers, we're already doing an excellent job. That's where we're seeing the growth in our funding. But still, there's opportunities for us to carefully evaluate the services that we provide our students, the instructional opportunities to gain additional funding while providing resources for our students to complete and attain their goals. For example, with the new funding formula, if a student completes in their first year 3 units of math and 3 units of English, we receive funding for that. And funding for that at the level of half as much that we would receive for a student completing a degree. So that's how important it is for us to focus on, what are the different parameters built into the funding formula, and how can we help our students attain their goal and at the same time be rewarded for it from a funding standpoint. So that's a very exciting opportunity for us. The budget, total expenditures, the salaries and benefits is 85.4%. So that's a respectable percent when you consider the amount of PERS, STRS that we're paying for our employees and the escalations in health benefits that we've experienced over past years. So at being anywhere below 90%, considering the position with PERS and STRS is a good percentage to be in. So at 85.4%, that's a respectable number. But still, I anticipate without increases or assistance from the state, that percentage is going to grow. Even if there's no raises, it's going to grow because of escalations in PERS, STRS, and health benefits. So it's something that, while we're in a good place right now, we have to watch and plan very carefully over the next several years. And we do have in place a 5-year projection, which we take into account things such as escalations in PERS and STRS, health benefits, other escalations. And based on the 5-year projection, we're still in a good position. But once we go beyond that period of time, it's not as comfortable from a financial standpoint. Part of the budget also includes contingencies for the U building. So the U building project, it's a 100% state-funded project, $60 million project. However, the state does not cover things such as furniture, fixtures, and equipment that will go into the new U building. We project those to be about $3 to $5 million. It does not cover the additional 2 elevators that we had to fight to have added, so the college will have to pay for those. and cost escalations for labor and raw materials that are above what was included in the original submittal to the state, the college has to cover. So in total, we're anticipating an added $10 million for the project that the college will have to cover. And within our 5-year projection, we have built in a plan to meet those needs in the time that they occur. So those additional expenses will happen over the next 3 to 4 years. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the irrevocable trust. So through the hard work of BRAC and this committee, the irrevocable trust was recommended to the board, and they approved establishment of an irrevocable trust for our other post-employee benefit liability and our PERS-STRS contingency funds. So just to remind everyone, in the past, we had our contingency funds held by the county, and the county would pay a return in the neighborhood of 1%. So on a $14 million reserve that we had set aside, we were earning, at best, $100,000 per year. By putting into an irrevocable trust, which we did, the first month that it was in the trust, we earned $160,000. The second month, which was August, we earned $163,000. So in the first 2 full months that the funds have been set aside in the trust, we earned in excess of $330,000. Why that's so important, and this was the most conservative investment option that the management company that's managing it for us, PARS, has. Why that's so important is because if funds are set aside in an irrevocable trust earning a higher rate that's generated at the county, that reduces the draw on the general fund, so we can utilize general fund dollars on what we're here to do, serve our students, instruction, student support services, all the areas that are needed to support our students. So by having it in the trust, we have more resources available. So I think that's very exciting and good news for us. Also at the board meeting, the board approved hiring a new executive director for our facilities and maintenance operations group. The individual that we'll be bringing in has served LA Unified School District for 23 years. He has a wealth of experience with construction, inspection, started off as a carpenter, worked his way up the ranks. He's a licensed general contractor in California, and he's also a certified inspector with the Division of State Architects, DSA. So he's going to bring to us a wealth of knowledge and experience to help not only with our construction, maintenance and operations, but just overseeing the entire area. He currently oversees classified staff in excess of 100, a very large team, and just he's going to be a huge asset for us. Dr. Hampton has done a great job for us filling in over the past year as the interim executive director over facilities. And Todd has agreed to assist in serving as the interim executive director over business services, which is a current vacant position. And in his new assignment, Todd will be overseeing purchasing, risk management, fleet operations, office services. It's really going to help in those areas. So very excited about that transition, just in providing improved service to everyone at the college. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Governance app, Michael Eyrig.
Hello. I don't know if I could use a computer or.
Of course.
So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Michael Eyrig. I'm the web administrator here at PCC. So I think the website, think of me and others. I'm part of the team. Thank you. I'll try to make this as succinct as possible and kind of give you just an overview of what the governance app is. It's a home-developed application that allows chairs, co-chairs of committees to essentially manage their committee membership, the metadata for the committee, the membership and meetings, essentially allowing you to upload documents and agendas and minutes and that sort of thing. So the easiest way to sort of talk about this, I think, is to go to our strategic communications and marketing website and go to our, I believe it's the training folder here. it's not that.
What Michael's here to do today, I'm Alex, I work with Chief Communications, working with him too, is basically with the change in semester, there's gonna be a lot of change in leadership of our various committees on campus. And we just wanna reiterate the purpose of this app and make sure that folks know as they're leading up these new committees, that it's there to help inform the college and that we all have a better understanding of how to use it. Clearly, we'll do an overview here, but this is a chance to refresh your memory on it.
And thank you to Sheila Rose here for helping me edit and sort of trim down, make more understandable this governance app user guide, which is on our website under Strategic Communications and Marketing. I'm just kind of briefly going to show you what is all entailed here. I mean, this overview basically gives you some of the capabilities of the application, and I think, like Alex just said, we more or less just want people to know that this application exists. Yes, report a bug. And more importantly, sort of be aware that in the cycles of college governance, when there's a turnover in membership, this is when things get kind of hectic and confusing, and we get a lot of requests about how do I update my membership, and so this governance app is really how you go about doing that. And it'd be really key for current chairs who are passing the baton on to a new chair or co-chair to communicate that the app exists, that this documentation exists, to request any new members to be added to committees, and any new chairs be added to the app so that they can go in and manage their membership, their documents, and that sort of thing. So, getting started, I will just quickly go to the app itself. And
No, no good?
no, it did ask me if I wanted to save my password on Crystal's computer, so I said.
Michael Shear.
So as an admin, I see all the committees, but when you first log into the app, you'll see an overview of any committees you have permission to manage, and obviously I'm going to see everything here. So these are the boards, and then the committees themselves go on and on. But if we get into the academic senate, I can show you briefly that you have the ability to edit basic metadata about the committee. There's mission statement, there's goals. There's actually a few other fields here. If you wanted to add a summary, composition of the website.
The page is blank right now, they don't have anything there?
They do. Here, I'll show you what this looks like on the web here. So,
We hope that this is review for most people in the room. I hope that you're all familiar with the systems you use to inform the college of the committee work we're doing.
I'm just really happy with the growth because Michael's right. He gets a lot of phone calls. I called quite a bit when I first got on board.
So that they'll be able to edit that directly in an easier manner.
yeah. So what you're seeing live on the site for the senators for the academic senate is actually managed within this governance app here under membership. And so you can easily kind of change committee roles. You can end membership. You can add new members. And it's just a quick and easy interface to update the content that we're seeing live on the website. And then meetings are kind of the more crucial piece. Here you can add meetings. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. We're not going to make any live changes to this academic senate meeting. Rest assured. Yes. But you can see your dates, your times, your location, anything you want to add. You can actually also upload documents. We have an obligatory 508 notice here to make sure that people understand that there's an accessibility component to adding a PDF to the website, so we know that it's 508 compliant. But that's pretty much it. You can actually quickly change the status of the meeting. That if you put it into draft mode, that'll pull it off the website. If something comes up, you have an error, and maybe there's actually the canceled feature here, which is the way that. Well, if a meeting gets canceled, but you also want to leave it online so that people can see that the meeting had been scheduled and then it was canceled, it'll essentially strike through the date and time and indicate that it's canceled here. So, and that's the gist of it. I mean, I think what I typically do when someone asks for access is add them to the application and send them a link to this getting started documentation, which is pretty thorough and spells it all out.
Who is responsible for each of those sites? Like this, who is responsible for Senate?
So typically, the way we've handled it is we've said chairs and co-chairs of committees are the ones that are added into the governance app and are responsible. And sometimes they will,
When there is a change in leadership,
that's,
do you
and
make
that's,
the change also, or do you just let it go?
and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come and talk to everyone here today, to address that part of it. I'm not sure how we want to, as a group, do that, but it seems to me that there's some amount of just the person who's currently a chair of a committee would then pass that information on to the next chair.
And we're here to help facilitate the transition from a technological standpoint. If there's a new chair or co-chair who needs to take on the role of managing a committee or a board in that sort of way, but obviously the committee itself is going to determine who the person is. So that's part of the onboarding process of a new chair or co-chair, is to learn how to use this to
Would
get
you
the
remove
information.
the previous people?
You can actually, the new chair can actually do that, just right directly in the app itself.
You manage membership.
The
of the
chair
committee.
must be, I don't know what word you use for that.
They have to have to
Access
let Michael
and
know that
everything,
they
right?
need access and
Right,
and
you
go
need
through some of
access.
that training process to begin
But
it.
would we make, let's say Cheryl, you call Michael and you say, hey, I'm now the new chair of the faculty association. Will he just take your word for that?
Yes.
We need to become some kind of control over that too.
Michael's been very responsible when committee chairs have contacted and said, I need access.
Uh-huh.
Michael's emailed me and said, wait
Okay.
a second,
All right.
is this?
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know what he does
We have
behind the
that. I think
scenes,
we
but
have that.
customer service wise, he says yes.
But sometimes you never know what people can do.
Russians, I
Huh?
know. Russians are gonna take over our shared service.
Okay, so any question for Michael?
Great
Thank you,
job.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Let me log out of this here.
Make sure you remove everything, or you can never trust Crystal. You will get.
Definitely don't
Now,
trust.
can we just go back there and figure out the way you use you hit your keyboard and you cover everything here?
You may have those tricks up your sleeve, I'm not sure.
We won't tell you anything. If you start seeing funny things happening, Miss Goros here, right here. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. The committee evaluation results, yes, Ms.
It's in the
Goros.
packet.
All right.
You wanna just review it, they don't have to review it here, but if they have any comments,
Ah,
just
okay.
let us know.
No one has any question for Crystal after you've reviewed? I mean, if you have reviewed the document, no one? All right, well, okay, well, we'll go with that. New items, discussion and possible action, review of proposed mission statement, all right? Crystal?
Yes, as most of you know, we started this spring of 2017, I believe. And I did a series of town halls, 2 on this campus, 1 at Rosemead, 1 at Foothill. I also met with various groups on campus. I also had a working group that went to the executive committee, and now it is here. This is the statement that was, whenever we're going to go into a new strategic planning process, we really should have a mission. We should review the mission first. That should be step 1. And this is it. And this is the mission statement that we're proposing to bring forward to replace our current mission statement. So, any thoughts, feelings,
Question, comment,
reactions?
feedback?
Thank you.
Is this
Oh.
information only?
No.
Or is
Well,
it-
it's
This is
gonna
for
go,
action, right?
it's gonna go out to all the groups. This is step 1.
This is
I
step
bring
one.
it here, from here it'll go out to the Academic Senate, the Classified Senate, the Management Association. It'll now make its round
How about the students
as-
also, right?
Yes, I will
Okay.
go to associate students. Actually, they were very actively involved in crafting this statement.
Where are the students today?
I don't know, but we did ask for
I
them.
can check with Rebecca.
I've asked Rebecca, I've given her a list, so.
Okay.
They're probably just busy right now. They're still working on their appointments, is what they said to me.
So it goes to everybody and then comes back here?
Yes, one more time, because it will have to go to the Board of Trustees for final approval. So this is a long process. I expect it to take the entire fall semester before it comes back to this committee to go to the board. My goal is to have it to the board by January. So don't worry, there's still time. But I do want to commend the committee. They were very thoughtful, very diligent, took a lot of input. And I think the one thing that I got out of all the town halls that I did, and I'll show you here, it was the same thing, which was that our current mission statement was just too long and didn't, and this, it was too long, and the students were very adamant with me that they did not see themselves in this at all. This meant nothing to them. It didn't make them wanna come here, it didn't represent them, they just didn't understand. They actually said they had never even seen it. So this one, they were very actively involved in and felt very comfortable. But
Is
we'll-
this something
we'll
you
bring
can
it around.
memorize?
It's something we can memorize, it's something we can put on all of our documents.
Did you see the length of that?
I'm
I'm not saying you can't memorize, but I mean.
So there, if you guys wanna commit it to memory
Except
now,
Stephanie
please
can
feel
memorize.
free.
All right,
But this-
so now we'll be distributing it.
Yeah,
All right,
it now goes on the full roadshow,
okay.
okay?
Number 2.
Who can memorize, who can recite it back? Just
All right, you get a free gift right now on this. Number 2, AB 7160, professional development. Who's in charge of this?
Jason.
Jason?
Good morning. So I'm here to present 2 pieces, but I want to provide just a few opening remarks to kind of help us move through this relatively efficiently. So the prior approved version of AP 7160 was written with the clear intent of guiding the college towards good practice in our facilitation of professional development. So I do want to acknowledge the effort and good ideas that went into its drafting. That said, a number of changes have unfolded at the college since the AP's approval in 2015, one of those being my appointment as Director of Professional Development. My job description explicitly calls on me to assist the college community in bringing greater coherence, efficiency, and effectiveness to our PD program. Having an AP that is even further aligned with good practice is essential to those efforts, so that's why I'm here today. Prior to my arrival at PCC, the Professional Development Standing Committee discussed and drafted revisions to AP 7160, and those ideas are represented in the revisions proposed. I should also note that AP revisions typically come here to College Council first, but in this case, I've already brought this to the Academic Senate on September 10th and the Classified Senate on September 19th for their first read. I'm hoping to visit the Managers Association next meeting, but I have met with the Managers Association executive. The reason I've opted to visit those groups first is because we're eager to get their early feedback and support to ensure that the PD Standing Committee could convene and begin working as soon as possible. So I'll now provide a brief synthesis overview of the revisions, and I expect that questions you have, some of them will be answered in that overview, and then I'll open it up if there are any remaining questions afterwards. So on page 1, the bold text at the top of the page has been added, and that represents the content we're advised to include in this professional development AP per the recommendations of the Community College League of California, of which we are a member. We fine-tuned the list of items included within professional development, and we removed 1A, as this content is represented in number 2 on the proceeding page. I do need to note a couple of recent edits to number 1 on this page that were made, but are not reflected on the draft being shown on the screen. 1A, there should be no strike-through. 1F, that additional text has now been removed. And 1G, the word training, has been added to the end of the item, so it reads equity and equity-mindedness training. Page 2. Some of the content in number 2 has been fine-tuned. Number 3 has been revised to reflect that the PD Standing Committee reports to College Council and will follow the shared governance guidelines. Accordingly, all details about membership composition in terms of office have been removed. Section 3I has been removed as committee chair responsibilities are also covered within the shared governance guidelines. Page 3. Section 3B has been removed because the Professional Development Implementation Group does not exist. Section 3BI has been removed because it is inappropriate for us to have a job description in an AP, as job descriptions are under the purview of the district. We've removed number 4, annual PD plan, number 3, annual PD calendar, number 4, assessment, as this content is reflected in number 2, again on page 2. We could fine tune some of the content in number 4, funding. And I do need to note that in number 4, that some of the text there should have been in bold font because it was new text, and that specifically is the text that begins with the words "are allocated" and ends with the word "expenditures." That should be bold. And we removed number 6, subcommittees, as information about subcommittees is not relevant to this AP. So that's the first piece, but related to it, I would like to look at the organizational chart, if we could. So the center circle of this chart depicts the PD Standing Committee, and it is this aspect of the diagram that I'm asking you to consider today. The new membership composition being proposed is outlined in the text inside of that blue circle, and it includes changing to a tri-chair format, increasing faculty membership by 1 so that there is alignment across the 3 constituent groups, and substituting the PD director as one of the chairs. So again, even though the changes to membership composition are to move through College Council, I did request and receive from both Academic Senate and Classified Senate an approval to recommend this change. So my ask in summary is that we would approve this composition change for the PD Standing Committee so that we can convene and begin work, and the AP as presented for a first read.
Motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the change.
Second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? All right. Dr. Jason, you are fine. And we can move forward with that. Thank you. BP 4030, academic freedom information only, so this is for people to review. Are they going to be taking that to their subgroups and everything?
This has actually already gone through the
Okay.
Academic Senate. They did it a while ago, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken. It just didn't get to me, but I
Uh-huh.
have it now.
Yes.
So it's been done by then. It primarily focuses on faculty. So I think if this group is ready, it's ready to go to the board trustees. I believe you already did the AP on this, and I've already moved that. Or am I working on that?
We're still
Working on
working
that?
on the AP for it. That should go through.
Okay. So then we'll
We're-
wait, we'll have to wait then?
Not
No,
in the
no, no.
BP. The BP's ready to go.
Okay. So it says here information only. Are we going to approve this today or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we did the AP.
I thought so. I
Yeah.
thought we already moved that.
Yeah,
I thought
we
I was
already did-
behind on the BP.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did the AP in here last year, right?
Yes.
So what are we doing right now?
Recommending that it move forward to the Board of Trustees for
For
approval.
approval, okay? Motion to move this forward for approval?
So moved.
I thought this was information only.
It says, that's what I was saying, it says information only on the
Yeah.
agenda.
You can still vote on it even if it says so.
So we remove the information only.
I move to approve the BP
Okay.
4030.
Second?
She moved already. so
I'll,
you
I'll,
moved
I'll
it.
second, it's fine.
You second, okay, all right. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, okay, so this is good. Now we'll move this to
Their subcommittee.
the subcommittee of the board. All right. Number 4, proposal to combine planning and priorities and enrollment management standing committees.
That's me.
All right, Ms. Goldrose.
So, this came out of the Enrollment Management Standing Committee did not meet last year. And planning and priorities, as you may or may not know, used to be combined with the accreditation. And so then when we formed the Accreditation Standing Committee, and planning and priorities was kind of left a little bit in limbo, because that was primarily what they worked on. So I talked to Dr. Juni, who actually did the Enrollment Management Committee, and we thought that probably a better committee would be a Strategic Planning Standing Committee, where we combined the charges of these two committees, but had a committee that focused on integrated planning, our annual master and strategic plans, and then would report up to this group any recommendations they have out of that, and also, and then we specifically said regarding services, resources, and programs necessary to achieve optimal enrollment, because that's very important, and services that support students in attaining their educational goals. We also want to make sure that this committee was working in conjunction with the other standing committees, the Academic Senate, Classified Senate, Management Association, to support collegial communication on strategic planning. So our proposal here is to, what did we say, retire planning and priorities and retire the enrollment management standing committee and combine them into the strategic planning standing committee. And I believe I provided membership here. And this would fall under the purview of this group.
Feedback? Yes.
I have a minor correction. Can you scroll to the previous page? Right here, I think that should be spelled differently.
Okay, I can fix that.
Ah, oh, yes.
Okay,
Oversight is the wrong site.
Oh, yeah.
it's the wrong side.
Yeah, it is the wrong side. It should be the C.
There you go. Done. Did I get the right side?
Beautiful.
I think
Yes, Dr.
it strengthens actually the charge, and it creates an efficiency. So I think it's a great use of people's time as well.
All right.
I love that we're paring down committees. We're committee abundant here on this campus. Just to put it out there for people's consideration, instead of collegial communication, are you working with those groups primarily for communication purposes or for collaborative purposes?
Could be both. I could do it either way. I think one of the things we were trying to focus on is the fact that we do have a communication issue on this campus. So we were hoping that this committee could then maybe do some leadership work around communication, particularly on the strategic planning, and when we have an educational facilities, a technology master plan, how are we effectively communicating that with these groups? And then how are we achieving it? Because who's assigned to do what? And we've always not been very clear about this, but I think this committee could work on those issues.
If I put it out there to the group, would you mind adding collegial communication and collaboration on strategic planning?
Okay. All right. Anything else? Can we vote on this now? Or?
It's your committee.
All right, well, let's have a motion, let's see if we can have a motion to approve this.
I'll move. I'll
Second? All right, all in favor, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? So it's good, we got a lot done on that. All right.
Next.
Proposal for assessment standing committee.
Yeah.
It's outcomes, not assessment, no. It's actually outcomes assessment.
Oh,
And, yeah, so
it's the outcomes assessment.
It's outcomes assessment.
It's not the other assessment.
No, it's not the other
Okay,
assessment.
alright.
Not like AB 705 assessment, not like placement assessment. This was actually outcomes assessment. And so everyone's familiar with learning outcomes assessment. We have a subcommittee of the Academic Senate that focus specifically on the faculty's role and how it is that they assess course level primarily outcomes, but we're also required by our regional accreditor, as well as just best practices, to also assess administrative unit outcomes, student service outcomes, but we don't have any sort of overseeing committee that helps to coordinate and inform those processes, and as a result, some of it gets done, some of it doesn't get done, and then we never actually bring back the data to talk about it in terms of a college-wide level. And I know that Dr. Olivo does a really good job of having breakfast for her area, and they talk about it, and I think that we would learn a lot if we were talking about that more at an institutional level. And so I worked with Lenora and Crystal to put this together, and Melissa Anderson, who is our current SLO coordinator. It helps distribute distribute the workload, it helps coordinate the workload, and it helps to make sure that we're not only in compliance with ACCJC, but that we have best practices in terms of outcomes assessment across the campus.
Feedback, comments?
Minor correction.
Oh.
Potentially.
It's no side
maybe
this
I'm
time, right?
misunderstanding. A little bit more?
You're a math, right?
Yeah, I'm math. I did have to learn how to write them. I believe that should be assessment, and that should be assessment, because that's assessment here and here. Is it an outcome
Yeah,
standing?
it's outcome standing
The
committee, so
outcomes,
we'll, yeah.
outcomes study or outcomes
Or
assessment?
assessment standing?
It's the outcome standing committee.
So what's
Because
the-
if we use the
Change
terms
that word.
assessment, it should say outcomes. We'll go through and make sure that it's,
So that should say outcomes?
that should say outcome standing committee and same with
Okay.
the one underneath it. Because if we use assessment, that gets confusing, particularly in terms of what's happening with AB 705. So it really is an outcomes standing
So
committee.
we good?
Yep, I think you just wanted to change this one.
There were two of them.
Thank you.
So
for
all
catching that.
assessments now have become outcomes.
Outcomes, yes. I'm going to find them
The
all.
third line from the bottom, yeah.
It was just there twice.
Thank you.
Are you going to approve this one also? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
I think it's good to see so much faculty representation for this, because that's, I know there are other kinds of outcomes, but I think it's good to see.
And we were also hoping that the faculty could help link between the course level assessment that's helping on the LAC and what's happening in terms of program review and how that
Right.
happens at the higher levels, so thanks.
Tito?
For the student services representative, learning and services career, would that be classified management, faculty? Is there any specifics for what's gonna be, has to be put on it, just pretty broad?
Dr. Oliver?
I currently have a student services SLO committee, and I have faculty classified managers, so I could just pull somebody from
Yeah,
that committee.
and so we left it broad so that way, because it's, I didn't want it to get into this Noah's Ark kind of
Yeah.
thing that we do. And then also, I want people on the committee
Right.
because of their roles and how they work, so, Cynthia could send over
I can see that Kalina.
any of the above, yeah.
An additional advantage of this committee is that once we get to the point where we have institutional outcomes, this would be a great place to assess those.
All right, so
Yes, thank you. That
we
was
got
the
this
point
one
I
done
forgot.
too. Number 6, college calendar 2018-20.
Did we need to vote?
Oh, we haven't voted yet? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? All right. Okay, number 6, college calendar 2018-2019. Yes, Ms. Fleming.
So there's just two minor corrections to the two calendars.
Are you doing both at the same time, the 6 and 7?
They're the same changes to both, so are you
Okay.
okay if we just
Oh, yeah,
address
I'm
6 and
fine.
7 at the same time? And so there were two minor corrections, or actually 3 corrections. And so we did not have some of the campus, the dates that the campus was closed marked on the calendar. So
Okay.
those are now marked on the calendar, both of the
So that's
calendars.
one?
So that's one, it's actually just 2 changes. And then the other thing that we did not do was, we had changed commencement to Flex Day, because Flex Day is now before, and it was still labeled as commencement in the calendar because of
Convocation.
convocation.
Convocation,
What did I
yeah.
say, commencement, I'm sorry. Okay, let me start that one over. We used to call the day before convocation, but then we changed it so that it's actually a flex or a professional learning day. And the calendar had gone through before we changed those dates, and so this is just an update to that. So these are just 2 technical changes to the calendar, making sure that days that the campus is closed are marked on both of those calendars, and then changing the word.
That's for both 18, 19,
yes,
and
for
19,
both of
20.
them. Exact same
Those
changes.
days were the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, it was a
Ah,
holiday
For some
weekend.
reason, they
They just didn't get it.
didn't get pinked. So now they're pinked, everything's all good.
All right. So everybody's happy? Do we need a motion and, no? Or-
Move to
Yes.
approve change.
All right, second?
It has to go to the board, so it's
Okay,
a
so-
recommendation to
okay.
go to the board
Okay,
for
second?
final approval.
So moved.
Do we moved already?
Second.
Second?
Second, yes.
Second, all right. So all in favor for number 6 and number 7?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Very good. Let's get into old items now. IEC broad recommendations.
Yes, at the end of last year, you asked us to take these broad recommendations and assign them to people,
Yes.
and you designated a group of people to do
Oh,
that.
yes.
Yes, they did that.
I did.
Just so you know. The grid that you see is where we assign them.
Okay.
And so what I just want to point out is what we then did in the annual update, and this is actually mine.
Yeah.
You can see we added a goal set. So David has gone through all of the annual updates for the people who were signed a broad recommendation, and he has loaded in an item for you. As you can see, this is mine, this is my annual update for this coming year.
Yeah.
I see broad recommendations from 2017-18. Priority recommendation 7, develop a more effective way of analyzing and distributing budgets so that resources support student learning, because I was assigned it in the grid. Other people may have gotten it assigned it in the grid too, and it's going to show up in your annual update as something you need to write action items to. Is that clear as mud? Okay?
All right.
Back to the chart.
Sure, of course.
Do you want us to do a search for your name?
Right.
All over it.
The very first one.
Let's take a look into it.
Well, it says,
Assigned
is that
to-
strategic communication and marketing?
Yeah, sorry, we just didn't, I forgot the part of it.
So SC should be separated?
No, that should be student services, no?
We can send this out to you.
Oh, great.
Well, we will review that. This is just for,
Okay, great.
this is for, you just
Thank
please
you.
review and make necessary corrections and we'll
Well, we
take
just
care of it.
wanted to let you know, we did the assignments and then that we took the recommendations and put them in as goal sets into the annual update so you can write action items to it. And David has done all of the loading into task for you.
Let's make sure that everybody whose name is on this is happy at the assignment
I don't
that
think
he
we're
or
gonna
she
be
has gotten.
happy.
I would like to know, is there an enforcement mechanism behind this, or is this just a black hole of things that need to be done?
There's an
Well,
enforcement behind, right?
Well, and this is exactly why we needed a strategic planning standing committee, because they would be the ones to follow up and review that action items were written and things are being accomplished.
If we can get this done and the people listed here get this job done in time,
Give them a raise.
no, the accreditation self-study would be
No
a piece of
raises.
cake.
How
Yeah,
about if they don't get them done, take
but
money
we are
away?
not a merit-based district, we don't have that merit, what do you call that? Merit pay. We don't have merit
How about
pay.
demerit pay if they don't get them done?
Well, that's something we will have to negotiate with all the unions about merit pay. I see that
We're
look on
good
your
with
face.
that. We're ready for
Huh?
merit pay. We're ready for merit pay. Aspen top 10, we're ready for merit pay.
Well, why don't you put that in on your openers for next year, merit pay? Well, that's something that many districts have.
What?
Well, not many districts have, but it causes problems though. Because
Oh,
how
we're
do you
done.
determine, who determines that it is?
This isn't stuff that we need to be
No.
necessarily punitive. I mean, what are they gonna, am I gonna get a phone call? Stephanie did not streamline and improve the educational
Oh,
process.
Stephanie,
to
you
meet the
didn't
diverse
streamline and
needs of-
improve, yes.
Therefore, we're going to dock your pay.
That's Dr. Story's
I think you
station.
should.
No, you can't do that, really. You know you can't do that because, remember, maybe some of you may know, in the past, right, summer pay, before you get that summer paycheck, you had to turn your grades in.
Have pockets?
Did you know that? Huh? But did you know that was illegal?
Promissory note?
There's a court action on that. There was a court case on that where you can withhold somebody, you can withhold that part of the pay that is related to the grade as part of the job that needed to do. But everything else, that the person had done everything else. 95% of the work was done. I mean, if you say the grade turning is 5%, so that's the only pay you can withhold.
It only worked when we did paper checks.
Huh? So there's, you know,
Because we would hand in our grades and then they would hand us our check. It doesn't work anymore. Direct
no, you can't do that.
Direct
No.
deposit messes it all up.
All right, are we done?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have too much time for announcements, so if your announcement will take more than 2 sentences, don't announce. 2 sentences maximum per person for announcement. Yes.
Fall planning retreat is tomorrow. If you wanna come, please come. And I was asked to give a shout out to you
From what?
from the veterans for attending the Clay Hunt Veterans Suicide Summit last Friday. They said you were kind, welcoming, and a gracious host.
Wow. Man, I never knew I could do all that, but that was good. A kind and gracious woo.
I was a little doubtful myself, but that's okay.
All right, Michelle Rose.
From October 3rd through November 3rd,
Uh-huh.
anyone with a PCC ID will have free access to the Huntington Library
Yes.
as part of the One Book, One College program for Little Nation and Other
Okay.
Stories.
November 3rd to.
October
October.
3rd through November 3rd, every day of the week.
Any chance of seeing the
Like
stinky
whole
flower?
families or just you?
Anyone, it's per ID. One
Perfect.
PCC ID, one sticker.
Any chance of seeing the stinky flower?
I don't think it's blooming right now,
It's
sorry.
blooming, all right. 'Cause I thought it was supposed to bloom a few weeks ago, something happened.
Oh.
In August.
It's one day.
It didn't bloom though. It didn't. They were already there. I was ready to.
Didn't one of a mini one did though?
It smells like
Didn't
a
one that
flower.
they
The mini
didn't
one,
expect
yeah.
to bloom?
It's called the
Yeah.
corpse flower.
Did you?
Just one, thank you for those who attended Latino Staff and Student Mixer on Tuesday. Today at noon, right now, is the Black Staff and Student Mixer in Circadian. And then on next Thursday, the 27th, is the API Mixer, which is going to be on the east patio of the Center for the Arts. And on Tuesday, Dr. Isela Osegueda will be presenting on her dissertation as part of our Latino Heritage Month. And you'll be getting a lot more details of that as far as where. Great.
Other announcement? Well, the meeting is adjourned. Again, thank you very much. Enjoy your Thursday. I will be off tomorrow.
I really would do yes.
Personal necessity, so I can tell you that.
Is it one of the areas of Title V? Personal assignment.
Let me see, is it for 10%? All right.
By all means.
It's
been really hard to like, I know you guys
I
have
think I'm going to
something.
go to the.
Okay, wonderful.
Stop
Well,
by
I don't know if
the-
it's during my.
I'm going to stop by there.
No, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a busy month.